My daddy's going away, you know. He says it's for a while. We'll miss our hugs and story time. We'll miss his funny smile. My mummy says he'll be back soon, and only time will tell how long it takes in far-off lands for his socks to really smell. There's lots to do before he goes. We already want him back, but he hasn't even left us yet, so we're helping him to pack. We give him gifts to show our love, and now he has to fly to reach the place he needs to be. We wave and say goodbye. My daddy's gone away, you know. He says he'd rather stay, but other people need him too on each and every day. He's working hard to conquer all that comes into his path, but I wish he was at home with me, putting bubbles in my bath.
Well, that's a little sample. Chris is here with wife Vicky, and it's Ben and Ellie. And what you couldn't see then was when that was playing, Ellie was doing all the words. Do you know all the words off by heart?
Yeah.
Do you really? That's fantastic. Have you read it lots and lots of times?
Well, we read the first book quite a lot of times, but the second book we've only read a couple of times.
And do you think your daddy's done a good job?
Yeah.
Well done.
Oh, it's
Said the right thing.
Chris, so you had to go away for your work because you're in the army.
Yeah.
So when did it come to you that you were going to write a book for them?
At the end of the tour to Iraq, so I was a company commander in Iraq in 2007, and I think I must have been thinking about it throughout the duration of that tour, and their behaviour did change. It does affect all children, I think, and so as I sat on a Hercules leaving the country, I started writing a poem for them, and the first half of the book came out at that point.
And Ben, can you describe for us, how old are you? You're 9 years
9.
old now.
Yeah.
What's it like when Dad goes off?
It's got a funny feeling that you want him back, but I don't know how to describe it. It's just a very funny feeling that you want him back and you're sad about it.
And can you remember those conversations you have with your dad when he tells you he's going off on another trip?
Yeah,
What's that like?
sad.
Oh, it's
And
really
annoying.
difficult, isn't it? And do you think about him when he's away every day, do you think, or how is it?
We try to forget about it, and then when he comes home, well, I try to.
No, that's
Yeah, well, that makes it. I mean, in some ways, that's for a child. I suppose that's a way of dealing with it, isn't
No,
it?
absolutely.
To get on with life, because that's.
And, you know, the whole family needs to normalise with the
Yeah.
fact that their father is absent in this case.
Well, yeah, we talked about the children, how they deal with it. Vicky is, you know, the partners, wives, husbands have to deal with it as well, don't they? How do you cope with it?
Well-
Because it puts very unusual strains, not only in marriage, but you know, the whole family, doesn't it?
Well, we try and just, as Ben says, we sort of try and forget about it and get on with life, really. But we also communicate a lot with Chris, and when he's away for particularly long stretches of time, we use Skype and emails and...
And at Christmas, when he was away, we Skyped him and we sent him a fruit cake.
Oh, really? Did you make it yourself?
Mummy
Mummy made
did.
it. Of course, of
Whiskey.
course.
Yeah.
And there are particular times of year which, again, are tougher than others. I suppose Christmas being one of them.
Yeah, so and I think particularly for, well, the children and Chris, well, all of us, you know, we made an appointment and we made sure we could get on Skype, and we weren't at home, so we had it all set up, and
So
it's really good. And I mean, you know, keeping in contact is really important. They have
And
to be able
easy
to
to do
talk.
in some ways these days, isn't it? By email and all the rest of it.
No, absolutely. And it's those important occasions that you need to plan for. But although we can communicate very quickly these days on email or telephone calls, sometimes it's much better to do a slow and deliberate and regular pattern of communication through the passage of letters and little parcels, because it really demonstrates to these guys that the connection is still there.
Can I ask, because sometimes the military is accused of not being terrific at kind of the human side of dealing with it, whether it be soldiers, military when they come back from war zones, or in this case, when you're there. Is it easier to talk about it with, I don't know, your colleagues, with other officers, with your men? Is that getting better?
Oh, I think it's improved markedly. I mean, I've been serving for nearly 20 years, and actually the welfare package as a whole has improved hugely. And I think it's a really valuable part of our training now that we understand the welfare of all of our soldiers, and that they understand what they can do to improve their own stability at home as well.